Jakob. We have a big dream to discuss today. And when you first read the dream, you said that was an exceptional dream. And that's what we are dealing with here, exceptional dreams. And what do we do with them? What do we do when we have an exceptional dream? Is there a function psychologically, collectively, for us to have these dreams? And we took a little time to think about that dream as we did with the other ones. And a question I know was really important for me was, how would it be like to have this dream? If I had this dream, how would I respond? I suppose this is really the invitation that we're standing out as well when we listen to these dreams, to, for a moment, really just think, oh, what would I do with this dream?
I think this is a dream for everyone.
Yeah.
Let's see what our listeners make of it. It for sure was a dream for me.
Yes, this is a really interesting contrast that we get out of the context that has been shared with us. It's a very Christian dream, but it's coming out of a non-Christian psyche, from a non-Christian background and non-Christian country. So this is something that the dreamer's been willing to share with us, that, you know, out of this very non-Christian environment comes a very Christian dream. And what do we make of that?
Yes, and one could say that it's a very Jungian dream, if one would like.
Yes,
It's
as well. Yeah.
It's as well a very Jungian dream. I guess it depends on the person reading it or listening to it, but that's what I was thinking. This really would resonate with Jung, and resonates with the way I read Jung, and I think we'll get into that as we exploring the images.
There is a service taking place in a church. A large congregation is standing in front of the altar. I am standing in the central aisle, entirely naked, facing the back of the church. I see Christ on the cross. He's alive, in agony. I wonder why everybody is turning their back to him, looking the other way. Can they not see him? Isn't it the first time that we have a dream that actually takes place in a church? We've been wondering, is this a church? In the previous dream, but this one is clearly a church.
Yes, it's a church and it's active. It's a service taking place. There's even a large congregation standing in front of the altar. So there is active attention towards what's being sermoned or presented, but our dreamer and oneself in the dream, if you like, is naked, and facing the other way. This is, of course, a theme that's not uncommon in dreams, that the dreamer stands naked publicly, or in a church. It's not something I hear as often, if I ever heard it, being in the center, naked, and looking the other way, looking back.
Yes, and for a dream where the dreamer is naked, it's not a self-conscious kind of dream, which typically someone will be naked and the concern is, oh, people can see me, or why am I here? But that is not the concern of the dreamer. So that is interesting. I think it's important to think of there are different forms of nakedness. There's the self-conscious nakedness, and this is really, in this case, naked in front of the truth, the divine, the ultimate, or whatever that might represent for the dreamer, but being completely open without any layer of protection, being directly in contact with something, some revelation, some mystery, some message.
Yes. Quite a contrast to our last dream with the armor. Although the
Yes.
armor can mean many different things, there is something in between, outside and inside. And here we have, as you say, the raw nakedness without shame, humility, emotional expression. There's nothing of that in the dream from what we know.
No.
Just being entirely naked, facing the back of the church, while everyone else is facing the front. Yeah, again, this dreamers see Christ on the cross, and it's alive in agony. It's alive in agony.
And it does really beg the question, what is church? You could wonder, based on the context of the dreamer, is not Christian himself. The congregation sound like they are Christian and are looking one way. And there is our non-Christian dreamer looking the other way and seeing something that maybe they can't see. I think there is something that, if you happen to be Christian, is worth paying attention to.
Yeah, I find that very particular, that that's where his attention lies. Why are everyone turning the other way? And that his attention in the dream doesn't stay on the agony of Christ moving, which one would think is the sort of numinous element of the dream.
Yeah. But in a way, that might also be what's happening, is when you are suddenly revealed something highly luminous. There is a shock that comes with this, of what is this, and why am I seeing this? I'm thinking of it also in the context, in a more ordinary context of individuation, of somehow developing a new consciousness, self-consciousness, perception of oneself and others and the world. And there's a real loneliness as well. And there's a distinction between self and the rest of the world, the crowd, etc. And I think at times, especially initially in moments of revelation or deep intuition, there is this sense of, am I the only one seeing something? Or and creating a break between oneself and then others for the purpose of the creation of a new consciousness. That's important.
Yes, I could see Jung having this dream, because he
Yeah.
was a man from the church who had to turn around and first turn eastward and go far, and then turn back to the church and turn back to West and turn back to his own complicated relationship to Christianity and find a new standpoint. We've spoken of Job before, and Jung had to write an answer to Job to try to deal with exactly this question: how to be a Christian, if to be a Christian in today's time. There's still this question mark of, like, why are they looking the other way? I'm wondering, maybe, is this a question of, is he the only one who should stand here, or is there a question about other people turning around? Is this, again, a completely individual walk we all had to do? Carry this walk, and you would also say, when it's a very individual walk to live and face life as it is today. But the dreamer seems to be bothered by everyone looking the other way. So this maybe comes back to this question of preaching, or what does it mean to turn around? Or what does it mean to do what the dreamer did in this dream? What would it mean for someone within the church or outside of the church? Again, we know a lot about the shadow of the church, and we read a lot about it and had many people leaving the church. But still, in this dream, the mystery, or the agonized Christ, is in the church. It's not like the person is leaving the church and walking out and finding him in nature. In this particular dream, he's absolutely in the church. But it's in the back of the church where most people wouldn't look.
I can see a link with some of our earlier dreams when, again, that one person, the dreamer, is experimenting with a new form of ritual. So again, there's a shift of responsibility in terms of following a certain kind of ritual, and then the dreamer experiencing the responsibility for themselves of, I'm going to do this differently, or I'm going to participate in this. I am going to participate in this. And I wonder whether there is something in this as well, whereby from following a collective or an established pattern, there is a responsibility to face whatever it is ourselves directly with our own consciousness, without too much collective bias. I suppose there is a mystical invitation in this, isn't it? To face God without intermediary.
Yes, face God, and during that, but maybe also facing the shadow of the church.
Yeah.
Which would be very Jungian interpretation of this image. I think the shadow of the church make many people reject it again. And that is, Jung says, yeah, that's something you do in your teenage years, for example. It's very important to reject whatever belief you grow up with, whether your people are born in 68 and non-religious, or if they were religious, it can be important to reject and go onward, just as Jung himself did. But then one has to go back and look at it. And in a way, the whole Jungian project is about that, trying to integrate the shadow of what the church repressed, or so as not valued or not important. And then I don't know really if you manage to bring that repressed back into the church, or the Jungian work might be happening outside of the church. But I think there is something about looking back within the church at what is alive. And yeah, I'm digressing now, but it is again this image of that one person turning around. I'm just wondering, how would it look if people would start to turn around?
Now you're really dreaming onward there. Yeah, I think that's a lovely thought to have, to just actually maybe starting probably from a child. Children are curious of what happens all around. Yeah. Yes, and I was also thinking, how many layers of shadow are we talking about here? Because, by definition, we really do not know what is the shadow of the church. We know a lot of various bits of shadow, that's for sure. A lot of very dark shadow we do probably know about. But is that not perhaps a question, that there may be in the shadow something of great value that somehow we're not seeing?
Yeah. I was hesitant if it needs a comment, or needs our comment, us commenting it, because in a way it's in itself, it holds, and it will awake so much associations, I think, in individuals. So yeah, I really hope our words will help, rather than invade too much almost on the sacredness of this image. Yes, I think we will leave people with this dream, and let people meditate on their own what this dream and what these dreams we shared in this first wave of dreams, what it means for them individually, maybe where it points towards culturally, if one dares to imagine and think. And yes, and we hope to be back, maybe discussing responses to the dreams that we shared, or just new dreams being caught in the net. And last thing from my side, this dreaming the myth onward, I was thinking this morning, it's really, it puts emphasis on the dreamer, but in a way we know we're being dreamt onward. We're being dreamt onward. That would be a better way to put it.
Yes, definitely. I can say for sure that I had not dreamt to be in this project with you. That was dreamt for me.
Likewise, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see where this dream continues to carry us.
There is a service taking place in a church. A large congregation is standing in front of the altar. I am standing in the central aisle, entirely naked, facing the back of the church. I see Christ on the cross. He's alive, in agony. I wonder why everybody is turning their back to him, looking the other way. Can they not see him?